Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're going to talk about Anime News Network. We're going to talk about the Vic Mignogna situation. We're going to talk about Funimation and those audio leaks. And we're going to talk about the fact that it took Anime News Network, the internet's most trusted anime news source, damn near a week, well, I guess it was 4 or 5 days, to even comment on the situation regarding the Funimation voice leaks. The really embarrassing Funimation voice leaks. Now, Anime News Network's editor-in-chief has given a reason as to why they did not cover it sooner. Not sure I believe him. I think they've got friends at Funimation, and it's really as simple as that. They've got friends at Funimation. They get ad revenue or sponsor dollars from Funimation. That would be my thought process. And when they finally do get around to covering it, they bury it in an article taking shots at the Vic Mignogna lawsuit. They bury it inside of this article. I mean, you really have to dig to find any information on it. I mean, it's like 10 paragraphs into this article. Again, it's sort of like buried in there somewhere. They don't call a lot of attention to it. Apparently, Anime News Network did not feel that this was newsworthy, the internet's most trusted anime news source, when IGN.com felt it was newsworthy. In fact, their version of the story made its way to Japan, IGN Japan, which in turn got picked up by Yahoo Japan, and God knows how many other outlets overseas. Comicbook.com felt it was newsworthy. Game Rant felt it was newsworthy. And Pride.com felt it was newsworthy that there were voice actors associated with Dragon Ball making homophobic slurs, apparently on company time, or at least using their characters' voices. Yeah, I think it was newsworthy. And I get that they have friends. I get that they have friends at Funimation. I'm sure they've made a lot of connections at Funimation over the years. But if they are indeed a trusted news source and not a Tumblr blog, then they should be reporting on this. So this is Neon. This is Clownfish TV. We are looking to talk about the situation again. We cover pop culture, news, and views. We cover anime from time to time. We cover Disney from time to time. Whatever really interests us that day, we cover. We have not really been following the Vic Mignogna situation that closely, because there are a lot of other YouTube channels that follow the blow-by-blow every day. I am not a lawyer. I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer. I am interested in this mostly because of, looking at it as a case study of how the media tends to play favorites. I think the situation with Vic Mignogna and Funimation is an excellent case study in how the media influences public opinion on individuals, how the media can potentially destroy or promote someone's career based on usually friendships or political affiliations. I think it's a very good kind of a case study. And I will freely admit, we do have a bit of personal bias here because we have tried to be pretty neutral on the Vic Mignogna situation. We report the news as it comes as news, for and against. But Anime News Network, because we dared even go anywhere near this topic, even though we've tried to be as even keel as we can be, even-handed as we can be, because we dared go near it, one of their editors called us a Nazi, and they refused to retract the statement. They refused to talk to us about it. Instead, they hid on their message boards, and they called us Nazis. We are not Nazis at all. And I'm sorry, I have a hard time taking this outlet seriously because of that. That is a personal bias, I will admit, although I will give them props when it's deserved. There was an issue with Hirohei, which should not have been an issue to begin with, but there was, where they copyright struck his channel because he was using audio from one of their podcasts in fair use. I believe it was in fair use, to talk about the situation. And the editor-in-chief, he was bragging on Twitter that they filed a copyright strike, and he finally let it go. And I gave them kind of props for that, you know, but I mean, the reality of it was they really didn't have a leg to stand on, and it never should have happened in the first place. So, you know, I think, again, the situation with Anime News Network is very indicative just of the media in general, the media that is losing eyeballs to YouTubers, to new media, newer media. It used to be 10 years ago, 15 years ago, these blogs were king. The Anime News Networks, the Newsaramas, Polygon, etc., etc., etc. They were kings. They formed and commented on public opinion in regards to pop culture. They had it locked down, and then came YouTube. So I think beyond, you know, any political differences or ideological differences, I think there's a huge threat to these networks, these news sites, because YouTubers are absolutely taking their eyeballs and taking their ad revenue. You know, I'm not even going to mince words. I think that's really what's behind a lot of this. Maybe not in Anime News Network's case per se, but I do know that, YouTubers are doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good now. I guarantee you, your average YouTuber covering pop culture is probably doing better than your average freelance writer for any of these publications. That is just an armchair opinion, again. But we see it time and time and time again with news outlets kind of going on the offensive against YouTubers. In this case, you know, they definitely have a personal stake in it. I do believe that Anime News Network is pretty chummy with Funimation. Of course they are. Funimation is the largest, I believe the largest, provider of English dubs in the country. They have, you know, some of the biggest licenses. You know, they've got Dragon Ball. And yeah, they're going to protect their friends, protect their interests. They're not going to throw Funimation under the wheels of the bus. They had no problem throwing Vic Mignogna under the wheels of the bus, but they're not going to throw Funimation under the wheels of the bus. Now, the official reason for why Anime News Network has not covered this until now, and this is where I'm kind of calling shenanigans on it, is Christoph McDonald, who is the editor of Anime News Network. I don't know if he has me blocked or not, but I know the writer of this article has me blocked, and I've never had any interaction with her ever in my entire life, and she has me blocked. So they said that they're understaffed and they're too busy, and they want to provide the most honest coverage possible. So this is Christoph McDonald saying that they accuse ANN of biased coverage because we haven't covered the latest issues of Funimation yet. This is yesterday. I assume most people know better, but for the benefit of those who don't, but are also willing to listen to reason, the key words in the previous tweet was yet. Well, yeah, they buried it. I mean, maybe they have an article forthcoming, but they buried it. You might have noticed that we took our time with a lot of the other allegations. Well, some would say you took way too long if they were true. Internet rumors, etc. That's because we spend the time and energy to research them. We reach out to the people involved for quotes. We consult, etc. Funimation, as far as I know, is not giving out any public quotes. And I think part of it is because of the legal issue going on right now with Vic Mignogna. They probably are trying to stall out until after Friday, which I guess is a big day. So I think they're probably trying to stall out. Of course, we have limited resources. Most of the people who work on this have other responsibilities at ANN they can't drop. But, you know, I would say, yeah, I agree with you. But I'm also like, I saw you guys did dozens and dozens of articles. Dozens of articles. Since this happened, this literally is the biggest story in anime right now. Given the opportunity, I'd like for ANN to be first. Given the choice, I'd rather we be last, the last publication to get it right than the first one to get it wrong. Again, personal opinion. I can't prove that is their official statement. My personal opinion is they're not going to make a move until Funimation makes a move because they have friends at Funimation and they don't want to help make them look bad. But that's okay because plenty of other bigger news outlets have already covered it. They've already covered it. It's all over the news feeds. So even Pride.com, that is an embarrassing look for Funimation. Definitely. So yeah, Anime News Network, a little slow on the uptake, and you know what? They can do whatever they want to do. Now, somewhat related to this, Adult Swim posted a cartoon over the weekend, a Sunday comic. I'm gonna pull this up right now. This is by, I think it's Brecht Vanderbroek, I think is his name. I want to say he's Danish. He's a Belgian cartoonist. He's got a wicked sense of humor. I was out there trying to find more information on him because I do like witty cartoons, and I thought it was funny. But a lot of assumptions were made about what this meant. So I'm gonna show this cartoon, and then we'll talk about some of the people who reacted, knee-jerk reactions to this cartoon. Oh my God, it's coming! We have to hide. Are these men in dresses? Are they men in dresses? They look like lumberjacks, dressed like they're going to kindergarten as a little girl. We have to hide. We have to hide. Quick, in here, in the cave. We have to hide from the truth. Here comes the truth, everybody. Oof, at least in here we can safely work on our journalism. Their journalism, which includes spray painting graffiti lies on the wall and drawing unicorns. And this is pop culture journalism today. This is it. This is people hiding in caves in a safe space, trying to hide from the truth, because the truth is uncomfortable, and it's a lot less fun than drawing pictures of unicorns. And we're seeing more and more and more of this from pop culture news outlets, from comic book sites. Apparently, there are some people at some of the comic book sites that don't really like me very much. They were ranting about me, but they have no problem themselves ranting about individual people and behavior they find problematic on their own platforms. They just don't like to get it in kind. They want to be the ones who make the opinions, who make the news. They don't want to be on the receiving end of it. And, it comes with the territory. You put your stuff out there, it comes with the territory. Now, these are men in dresses. Or little girls' outfits, sailor uniforms, whatever. And, some of the people involved with the Vic situation had a problem with it. What the fuck, Adult Swim? From Marzgurl. Some other tasteless cartoons, apparently. Speedy Gonzales breaking through the wall. It's interesting how people take things. Personally, the guy's from Belgium. I don't think he's what we would consider a conservative. I think he's just making pointed observations about culture right now and the divide between sanity and insanity. And he doesn't really have a dog in this fight. He's from Belgium. He's not an American. So this isn't an alt-right thing. So, Marzgurl kind of went on a tirade. And again, I think I literally have talked about her maybe once in passing, and I'm blocked. I'm blocked from her. And I don't harass her. I just thought it was really interesting that, the people who probably should not be tweeting very much right now are offering up hot takes all the time on Twitter, which is kind of what I think got Funimation into the situation they're in right now. Now, this person's from Belgium. I think they could give two shits about what far-left Twitter thinks about their stuff. It's interesting that Adult Swim is retweeting this. This guy actually writes cartoons for Adult Swim on the website. Here we go, Adult Swim /comics. He's got many comics. And this one's transphobic, but there are tons of these characters in these cartoons, and I was trying to get a beat on where this guy is politically, and I don't think it really matters because he's from Belgium. It has nothing to do with American politics. So weird. But so a lot of it is the people associated with this case, and this is kind of comes back to Funimation. Now, I don't think again, I do not follow the blow by blow on this. It's too confusing, and it literally is like become a full-time job for people just to follow what the hell is going on in this situation. But I do know that Marzgurl is involved in this. She's come up in the litigation. She's come up in the testimony. She's been a cheerleader, if nothing else, for Funimation, the people at Funimation, getting rid of Vic. There are a lot of people out there on Twitter who have actually thrown kerosene on the fire. In my opinion, the reason that so many people are rooting right now for Funimation to be knocked down a peg is, it's not even so much the situation with Vic. I think that was a huge catalyst, but it's also the behavior afterwards. The 6 months of Twitter drama. The 6 months of Twitter drama that has left a bad taste in the mouths of many people regarding Funimation as a brand. You know, when people are basically rooting for Funimation to fail. And it's not just the alt-right, it's not just Nazis, it's just not what somebody called them, cultists. They called them the Vic cultists. It's everyday people who are just like, God, would you shut your people up? Would you shut them up? So, you know, it's kind of coming home to roost right now. I mean, normally this wouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, it would, but it wouldn't. It depends on who makes the jokes, right? This wouldn't be that big of a deal. I think a lot of people understand it was like 10 or 20 years ago. But because of the backlash against Funimation, you know, people are going to look for every reason to root for the company's failure. And that kind of goes along with Anime News Network too. People are going to look for reasons to root for Anime News Network to burn to the ground like Gizmodo, because of their clear bias they have for Funimation and against Vic Mignogna. You know, it's very obvious. I mean, don't even try to hide it. You know, you've got friends at Funimation. You want to keep those friends and or money. You want to keep the money rolling in. I mean, that's what it is. So this is a problem. This is a problem for Funimation. This does not look good. I don't think they're going to comment on it until after the Vic situation, if they ever do. But they can't deny it. They can't pretend it's going to go away. It's not going to go away. You know, people aren't going to forget about this anytime soon. Unless they do, which is possible. It's totally possible. So, curious that it's taken, again, this long for Anime News Network to comment. Not surprised, given how they've dealt with people. Again, we saw just in our armchair, giving our armchair opinions was enough to put us on the radar with them. And we've never come out for or against Vic. We're just like, look, we got to see some evidence. We got to see some more evidence. You know, we will report on the verdict of the case for or against, you know, factually. And that is it. That is it. Because it is important, I think, in regards to the fact that people can be terminated for pretty much anything anymore, you know, and you know, you have to have some proof. And we've seen cases. Now, I am not saying that, you know, there isn't some credibility to some of the things that are being said about Vic Mignogna. I don't know. You know, I wasn't there. I don't know. What I am saying is that you can't cancel someone from their career based on flimsy evidence and flimsy allegations, when from where I'm sitting, a lot of the stuff I've seen has been outright fabricated, lied about, misconstrued, and because of that, he was terminated. But meanwhile, we've actually got physical evidence of some of their other voice actors saying things that are not cool to say in 2019. Granted, this didn't happen in 2019, but you know what I'm saying. And it does show a bias. So I'm really curious to see how Funimation deals with this. You know, will they deal with it the same way they dealt with Vic Mignogna? Will they issue a big statement on Twitter and say that, you know, they got to let these people go because it's problematic, that even Pride magazine is calling them out? Or will they just make excuses and say, well, it was a long time ago? And if that's the case, if it was a long time ago, then technically it was a long time ago for Vic Mignogna too. And again, I'm not conflating some raw outtakes with potential harassment. I'm just saying there's got to be a smoking gun, and from where I'm sitting, I haven't seen it yet. And you know, I don't know, but I don't know how the case is going to go. I'm going to tell you the truth. I have no idea how the case is going to go. But Anime News Network, I do not think can be trusted anymore, because they clearly are biased, and you know, it's becoming more and more clear that most of the pop culture media outlets today are very biased, and they report the news when it benefits their side. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.